You already spoke a little bit the other day about Jet, and you didn't want to close the door on his opportunity to potentially make the team. Our understanding, I think, when Brent Flahr and some other guys spoke at rookie camp.
Who?
Brent Flahr, Brett
Okay.
Flair, sorry.
Okay.
Was that you need to work on his shot, his finish, his decision making. Have you seen him? How have you seen him in that regard, in terms of his shot and finishing around the net?
Well, I haven't seen him long enough. I mean, we're practicing. We haven't played a whole bunch of exhibition games. He's handled himself very well through the camp. Specific stuff, I don't want to talk about it now. I want to let it play out a little bit. But he's handled himself very well.
Have you spoken to him much? Have you gotten to know him a little
A couple
bit?
of times. I don't know him, but I've spoken to him a couple of times. Yeah.
Heard about his work ethic and how much he stays in shape. And
He's in elite condition. I mean, you can see that the amount of skating we've done. He just keeps going. So, yeah, he's a strong kid. Bigger than I thought he was when you get up close and with him, and he's just handled himself really well. As far as the specifics, I've got to watch more, and so many things going on around camp here.
be tomorrow.
I don't know. I can't remember. I have so many lineups. I don't know where he is in tomorrow's.
You were speaking with him for a bit on the ice before one of the drills. Is he someone who's receptive and asks questions about what's going on?
Yeah, he's a smart player. He hasn't had to ask many questions. I think he gets it. But certain coverages, you talking today, Jackie, when I was talking to
There was
him?
one point where you guys seem to be having not a super long conversation, but a bit of a conversation.
Probably coverages, just explaining where he needed to be at certain. I wanted to make sure he understood, both him and Mish. So, yeah, because we were doing just a couple of things that happens in our defensive zone that we do a little bit differently than other teams.
Talking about the cuts from this morning, and I guess mostly yesterday, but into this morning, we got them this morning at least. Quite a few prospects, Spencer Gill, Carson Bjarnason. I know you like to have conversations with guys before they get sent down. Did anybody that got cut, were you particularly impressed by any of them? Or
I didn't speak with him.
You didn't speak with them?
No, not this group. No, that'll happen eventually. But Danny, I think Danny and Alan talked to them. I have not spoken to them.
Did anybody from the cuts, catch your eye during the first rookie camp, first week of camp?
Well, I can't think of all the names that were sent down, but you just mentioned a couple, and I thought Gill had a good camp. A big, tall, 5-year-old that needs to grow into his body, right-handed defenseman. I thought he equipped himself very well. So, yeah, there are some things as we keep building there. There are a lot of good things. Even the guys leaving, early on in the camp, there were some good things that we can hang our hat on.
With Matvey Mishikov, I know we've made a big deal about the language barrier, but what's it like talking to him on the ice, and do you feel like he's able to listen and get it and kind of apply it?
I think so. I think he's very attentive. Like I said earlier, he's a hockey player. He loves being on the ice. I think he's getting better and better understanding, getting much better speaking. Z has helped us a little bit there. He helped us today on the ice. I'm not sure if that's a good thing. We have Z kind of leading the way there, but he's getting better. He's getting better, and I just like he just loves playing. He loves playing. I think he's full of energy and full of personality, so it's good to see.
Is he physically stronger, maybe, than people realize? You watch him in the battle drills today. He's more than holding his own.
Yeah, he can protect a puck.
Do people not realize, maybe because he's a smaller stature guy, that there's some strength?
Yeah, I know Danny and those guys talked to me about that. I'm not sure if other people realize that, but our people do, and I've watched it. I think he hit the wall the other night. He just had no legs in the exhibition game, but he can protect a puck, and he's certainly willing to be in the areas to go get the puck. So yeah, he's had a good camp. The two young guys, obviously the most guys that are thought of as far as him and Jet, I think have equipped themselves very well.
Going back to Jet real quick, over the course of your coaching career, have you had an 18-year-old that's
I'm
Like
sh-
at that age where, and do you change your approach maybe with a kid who's only 18 versus someone who's a little bit more mature and has a little bit more experience?
Oh, sure. When you're dealing with an 18-year-old, there with so many things going on, and their first camp, and I think you need to have a little bit of empathy as you go through it, and try to be as patient as you can with certain situations. So yeah, I'm sure I can't remember with all the camps I've gone through. I can't remember. I'm sure I have had 18-year-olds, but these 18-year-olds that come to us now are it's just a different athlete. I think about when I was 18 and what I was doing and what we're asking these 18-year-olds to do, and we want it right now, right? And I think it's a pretty mature kid coming to us. I think there's things along the way. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it on that note with the 18-year-olds.
Moving to Lixell, he got the back-to-back preseason games.
Yeah.
He was with the mostly NHL group today.
Yeah.
Have you guys been impressed with him at camp, or is this more a case of a guy, this is kind of his chance, you're giving him the long look?
No, I thought he had a good first game. I don't think anybody really played that well in Montreal. But no, we just had him penciled for 2, Bobby for 2. With Bobby, like I said, we had half of one of those, but it just didn't work out that way. And yeah, he's, it's kind of an NHL 1 today and NHL 2. That's for today. Don't get locked into all that, because that could change the next day. And Lixie was there today, and I thought we practiced really well. I'm sure this is going well too down here. I thought it was a good day for us.
A lot of battle drills today, and I don't know if it just happened to be the way it rotated, but Drysdale and Ristolainen were paired up a lot. With Jamie, you're looking to see the core strength after the surgery he had. The fact that he looked, from our vantage point at least, to handle those battles well, is that a good sign that you're going to get the Jamie Drysdale you've been hoping to see, that everything's sort of in the past?
I have no idea. You can't judge it off of one drill, but part of the drill was to kill plays. I think it's one of the drill was for killing and just playing under the hash. It's one of the areas Jamie needs to improve at. So when we get going, we get our team, and he gets up against NHLers, and we're in situations. That's when we're going to see what we have, Jamie. So it's questions that I just have no answers for now. I know he's trying. We've had these conversations. We know we've put across information to him what we want him to work on. We'll see where it goes.
When you do line combinations for now to get chemistry and to build, I mean, are you a guy that tries to balance a line where you have maybe someone's a little bit more defensive minded and then someone maybe a little more creative? Do you, like, what kind of goes into deciding X goes with Y, goes with Z?
No specific thing goes in my mind. There's no way of doing it for me. It's conversation with coaches. We do some analytics as far as the prior year, who played well with one another. It's hard to get 3 people in that type of analytic, but it's a lot easier to get 2. We have information on that. And then sometimes it's, as I said, you throw it up against that wall and try it for a couple of games, and maybe it sticks. If it does, you stay with it. If not, you try something else. But the combination of 2, we've had conversations on that already.
How often
So
do you
what
spend, how much time?
what was it about Matt Bay and Morgan that said, okay, let's try these 2 guys together for you?
Nothing. I just put them together. And for some reason, you guys think they're going to play together, but I have no idea. That's just the way it works. Actually, I really had nothing to do with that, because Danny and Alan and those guys put the teams together. So I didn't put the lines together. So you guys running around with all these line combinations, I had nothing to do with it. So ask Danny those questions.
How much time are you're not exactly known as an analytics guy. How
No.
much time are you spending with the analytics?
Me?
Yeah, just you personally.
I don't.
Dig into that stuff.
I don't dig into it. I have coaches that really enjoy that, and they give me the important information that they think I should have. And it's not because I don't want to do it. I got a lot of shit to do, and I'm not a big numbers guy. I'm just not built that way. The biggest part of my coaching is especially now, is just to run the camp and look at mindset, how you play, how you practice. So that's a really important part of what I love doing, and I think that's a huge part of my role with this organization, is to try to find that. I've got really good coaches that can do the numbers. They'll find me with important stuff as we go through.
John, is there a coach that does that?
They all do. Yeah, they all do. They're into it. Yeah, we don't get me wrong. The analytics are looked at here. Just because I don't do it or go through page doesn't mean that we aren't using some of that. As I've always said, the biggest thing with numbers, you can turn those 10 different ways to make something spit out the way you want it to be. Or I'm still a big believer in that being kind of a I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for, but it doesn't overrun me. I just, it's a piece of the puzzle, and it's a piece, don't get me wrong, but the watching it and feeling it for me is more important than numbers.
John, when you have a guy in a preseason game who is, at least in the mix to a degree, I'm speaking about Ronnie Attard, who pretty noticeably struggles.
Yeah.
Do you, and when I say you, I don't necessarily even mean you, obviously Danny and
Yeah.
everybody's involved, but do you guys look at it as throw him right back out there, see how he responds, or do you look at it as, well, he had his chance and he didn't come through, so he'll stay, but he might not get another look?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Ronnie is we need to see some improvement. All right, Ronnie's going to turn 26. If he's 26 now,
25 now.
he's going to turn.
26 in March.
Yeah, and it's amazing how quickly, when you talk about 26-year-old, it's getting old. When you have 18, 19, 21-year-olds coming in behind you. So we have not made any decisions on Ronnie, but we need to see Ronnie improve. And great kid, has all the tools. The biggest thing for me is I just want Ronnie to be able to see the ice, read the ice. It's been a little bit of a struggle, and we're going to have to make decisions as we've got other people coming in behind him, and we go. You only can carry so many contracts.
At this point last year, Farabee wasn't quite himself health-wise, but he had a big game against Washington the other night. Do you see that difference, the fact that he's healthy now and seems confident?
No, he was healthy last year too, and had a good start and tailed off. But the Washington game, like I said the other night, you guys want me to make all these judgments on these players based on an exhibition game where I think 5 or 6 pros were playing in that game for Washington. I think you have to have 8, but the number for vets is, you can fudge it a little bit. I'm glad he got involved in offensively. I'm glad Frosty did, but it doesn't blow me away. There he is. You need to see more. It will not come from exhibition. I'm telling you right now, it won't. From the players that have been here. So the first step is looking at the kids and give them exhibition, which is more important for them, just to go through that. But as far as a Joel Farabee, it's going to come from within his play when we get the real stuff going.
I want to go back to the analytics for a quick second. You get kind of 2 versions. You get the on ice, but you get from the strength and conditioning guys as well. Do you lean more? Do you pay more attention, because you want these guys to be so in condition, in shape? You kind of put as much or more on the conditioning analytics that you get from that group versus the in?
Neither. I watch the conditioning too. I looked at a 25-page report from our strength coach yesterday, as far as all the numbers, and I did look at it. I mean, I look at that. I'll tell you, I look at that more than some of the garbage that's spit out in the National Hockey League. There is so much shit spit out in the National Hockey League as far as analytics, and but the strength, that type of stuff is more interesting to me. I think is more beneficial to me. But I still believe in watching what the player looks like in the skate test and how he handles himself.